Hello, it is Tara Boothby, and I am here in the Canadian Rockies, Canmore, Alberta, wanting to talk to you about model of self and model of others. So sometimes we call this MUMOS. MUMOS. Kind of easy to remember, but that is model of other and model of self. And this is really important. We say it a few different ways. We use it clinically as psychologists to help evaluate how people are doing, whether they're sitting more in a negative view of self or a negative view of others. And our goal is, from an attachment perspective, to help people move towards a positive view of self and a positive view of others. Those models, our internal working model, as Bowlby might say, a very, very important thing. We want to take care of what's going on inside so that we can better manage and participate in what's going on outside of our bodies. Something that I will say, something that I write in my book, is that we are whole people and we are wholly loved. So we are both flawed and fabulous and all these things. However, it's pretty tricky to figure out how to make peace with those bits of us that we don't quite love or like, those bits of us that other people definitely don't love and definitely don't like. Now, what's the risk, or I guess the trend? Should I say trend? Yeah, I think a lot of us trend more towards a negative view of either self or others, whether we profess to really be critical, to be blaming, to be contemptuous towards other people. The root is generally deep down inside of us, something about our unmet attachment needs or our attachment fears, as Virginia Satir would notice, our deep down yearnings, our core root of our I am. There is a shakiness, a wobbliness, an uncertainty of our innate goodness, because we are flawed. And if you're like me, you know all of your laundry list of negative characteristics, the problems you have caused, the problems you've participated in, the ways others have been hurt by you. So our flaws can really get us feeling like we shouldn't actually like who we are on this inside, and can rob us from the truth of that. Liking ourselves on the inside actually means that we don't always completely like everything about us. And we live in this society or this lifestyle, especially in North American culture, of perfection, that things are all bad or they're all good. We like to polarize things. Polarizing things is disorganizing. Requiring sameness is disorganizing. If we expect ourselves to be wholly one inside, perfect, and unified without anything that is tarnished or tattered or dappled or dangerous, then we are living in a false notion. We are whole people, wholly loved. We are positively good, even though we are fundamentally struggling and we have errors in how we live in the world around us. So a positive view of self is really starting to understand that I can like me all the more, even though some parts of me might not be completely likable, or some parts of me are really unlovable to some people out there. Oh, I got a hair on my face. And moving into this idea that the more I like and try to trust, to understand that I'm kind of okay just the way I am, imperfect and all, the more we can lend ourselves to see that we're coming alongside of other people of the same fabulous and flawed nature. We have good, we have bad. There's no real bad. Some things aren't going to feel great. All feelings are necessary and included and good to help us navigate our lives and the lives around us. So what's beautiful, actually, from an emotionally focused therapy point of view and an experiential attachment practice model, is in the therapy room, what we're trying to do is cultivate or help to scaffold conversations where somebody can begin to talk about those vulnerable parts of self that feel risky to share, the parts that we're worried, I don't think I should expose this to anybody, the parts we lie about, the parts we bury deep down inside, the worries that nobody would really ever like us if they actually knew those bits and baubles that are dragging us down. So we hold space in conversation for people to start to navigate the worries, the perceptions that are causing them to pull away or to move too solidly in those parts that are just so secret and terrifying to speak about until we actually speak about them. And then we find one other person is there to hear us with loving ears, see us with loving eyes, and know us with a loving mind. And in this experience where one person shares something very vulnerable that feels weak or broken, so tarnished and tattered, and another person listens and meets them in their immutable place, those actual parts that we think are unacceptable and that we should always feel negative about start to feel more accepted. Because if somebody can hear me and see me and know me in what I view as unacceptable about me, I start to have this corrective experience, this corrective epiphany that those parts of me are actually tolerable to somebody else. And so I can better hold space for those parts to be tolerable to me. And it's just this process of learning to hear and see and know ourselves with loving ears, loving eyes, and a loving mind, and starting to realize that we can offer that more to other people. So we want to move and help ourselves and help others to understand that it really doesn't have to be that we feel negative or we believe negative about ourselves. It really doesn't have to be that we feel and that we believe negative about other people. We don't have to polarize and try to figure out ways to protect ourselves from whatever is innately wrong about us. There's nothing innately wrong about you, just as there's nothing innately wrong about me. But we don't have to protect ourselves from what we think is so hideous and flawed inside. Just as we can learn to see that other people are not hideous and flawed and innately screwed up. There's nothing innately wrong about other people either. We start to discover that there is space for more and more and more and more positive view of self and positive view of others. And as I'm talking, I think like this is so fundamental to my view of love energy and love's energy, to my view of spirituality and our identity as whole people who are wholly included. But also there's something really profoundly important. The more we dive into having a better trust for this crazy human relationship experience, and the more we can hold space for our innate goodness and the innate goodness of others, it really lends into this space of a social justice mindset, actually, that when we operate within a habit of inclusion, that we can start to figure out how to extend love and how to view love globally and not just within our homes or within our neighborhood or within our town or city or province or state or country or whatever. That we start to see that there's just all the more love to give and expand. And I think for me, as I'm thinking out loud, that probably the biggest fundamental shift in my nonviolent view of self and others, and my longing to better and better understand social justice, is that I have a positive view of self now. And that positive view of self is so transformative for my view of others and my positive view of others, that I can trust that I am not flawed to the core. And that makes me curious and more generous to hold space that others are not flawed to the core. We aren't. We're not. We're pure of heart. We're beautiful inside. So there's all these beautiful bits and baubles and fears and perceptions. There's all these unmet needs, and attachment hurts inside of us. But they're a beautiful piece of who we are. They're not a broken piece of who we are. They are included just as much as our fabulous parts are included. And we are flawed and fabulous. We're included. We're flawed and fabulous and delightful. And everybody else is too. This is moving into more of that positive view of self and positive view of others. The MUMOS goal, the model of others and model of self goal, is to be able to sit in as many spaces where we love and honor ourselves and where we love and honor other people. Okay, you guys, I hope everything is percolating in an interesting and curious way. And we look forward to catching up with you next time.